Now we come to wiring up the handle and the switch. There's a couple of points I'd like to show while we've got the video running. This is the 2-speed switch. It's a very early one, which you don't see many of about, and miraculously this one still works. That's the first position. That's the second position for the higher speed. It's amazing it still works actually. It's very rare to find one like that. Anyway, what I wanted to cover was about retaining the flex into the cover plate here. The flex goes through this grommet, and then on the other end you've got to find some means of stopping it from, obviously you're going to wire this up, but you don't want the cable to be pulled because it's going to pull on the connection, so you've got to find some way of retaining this cable in here. Now what I'll do, I'll show you what they used to do, which you can't do now. In the old days, Hoover cable came like this, and alongside the inside the cable it had string wrapped around it, and what you used was a little plate like this with 2 holes in. It seems a bit Heath Robinson, but it actually works. And what you do is you poke the string. I'm only going to do it roughly because the string's a bit loose. This is an old bit of flex I found just to illustrate the point. You poke the one through there, and then you put the other string, other side of the string, and the other cable through the other hole, like so. This does sound Heath Robinson, but it does actually work. And then all you do, you just get the string and just tie a knot in it, a double knot. I'll just tie a single one now. You get the idea. You tie that knot. You normally tie it twice to make a strong connection, like so. And then that little plate will stop the cable pulling out through the grommet. Obviously it goes inside the handle. I'll just show you like this. I'll poke it through that way. Actually, it won't go in because the flex is too thick. Oh, it will. Right. Now you can see the idea. Now it looks a bit scruffy because the string, so obviously you tied it up. But now that little plate there prevents the flex from pulling, so the connections won't move. So that's the way they used to do it. And obviously you can't do that now because you can't, as far as I know, you can't get this official Hoover flex with a string on it. Normal flex doesn't have that. This is the piece of flex I'm using. Obviously this is 3-core because this product's got to be earthed because it's an old metal one, and it'll need an earth on it. It's not double insulated, so I've got to find a way of retaining that flex and stopping it pull through. There's 2 ways I've used in the past. There's the cable in there. I've got to stop it pulling through. The 2 ways I've used in the past. One way you can do is with these cable ties. If you do it tight enough, you can wrap a couple of these around. I won't actually tighten it up because it will waste the cable tie, but you can tighten that up around the cable, and if you do it tight enough, it will prevent that from pulling through. That's one way. The other way you can do it, which I found is quite useful, take a cord retention clip out of an old plug top, 13-amp plug or whatever you've got, like that. You need 2 really, and then here's one I've done ready. You see I've got 2 halves there, and then all you do, you just put this, tighten this around the cable, like so, put your little screw through, tighten this up. These screws look a bit big to me, but I just found these in the scrap box. I don't screw it into my fingers. Usually the sort of thing I'm likely to do. Anyway, you tighten those up. I think you're getting the idea. There we go. And you can see that if that's tight enough now, that will fit in there, and it does the same job as that little piece, the piece of string, because you can pull that and it won't pull the cable out now, and these will be safe so they won't come out. So I've got to connect that up. I've got the wires, the 3 wires that come up from the bottom of the handle socket to wire up. I'm not going to film doing all that because it's a bit finicky and it's not very interesting anyway. Here's the finished handle. Now fully wired. I've got the switch in and working. That's the normal position, and that's the high speed position. Really old switch, still working fine. Cord grommet and the flex. I've also done, as you see in the previous video, a new brag holder spring mechanism using an old cycle helmet strap, and the handle's been resprayed and everything is working. And on the bottom I fitted the socket for the connections to the machine itself, a 3-pin, which denotes it's a 2-speed model. There's just an earthing band to go around there, and perhaps a bit of paint scraped off to make sure it earths. And then it's a simple matter of fitting it on the machine. What I'm going to do is plug it in so you can see it, the machine works with it in. I've connected the handle up to the Hoover plug itself, and I've connected the mains lead into my connector block, so we can now turn it on and then operate the switch on the hand and see if the machine works okay. This is the first click, will be the first speed, and then the second time I shall move it on, it will go to the second speed, hopefully. This is the first speed. And then a further click gives the faster speed, thus. I think you'll agree that's quite smooth for a 90-year-old machine. Really smooth running, and no vibration or anything from it, probably due to the weight of the machine. All that remains to do really is put the agitator inside. I've got that in another room cleaned up ready with a belt on, and then simply fit the cloth bag on to the bag flange. This is a bag flange. Again, it's properly machined and held on with some hefty metal nuts. This is the bag here I'm going to use. It's an original Hoover bag. It's in pretty good condition actually. It's kept it quite nicely. There's no holes or anything in it. It looks as though, I'll give it a brush down first, but I think it's nice to use the original one. I have got some new ones, black ones, but they're not genuine Hoover. They don't say Hoover on it, just says the vacuum cleaner. It's not, and this is an original one, so I think I should fit that. When it's finally fitted, I will show it working on a carpet so you can see the finished thing and show that it works. But not a bad machine actually for its age. Bye for now.